Hello everyone, it's me, Crystalline, your proactive conscious aging life coach. How are you guys doing today? I'm joyful in the Lord and in the power of His might. Welcome back to my channel. To all my regular subscribers, thank you so much for your support. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get my videos just as soon as I upload them. Please put some comments down in the comments section. I like my videos to be a conversation. And also, if you find value in this video, please share it with some of your friends. I'm going to get right on into this today. But oops, before I forget, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there who might be watching this video. Today, we're going to talk about sunscreen, and I have been putting this video off for a few weeks. Either it's too hot or too cold outside. Last week it was raining all week, but today we have a wonderful and glorious day here in Michigan, so here I am. Let's get with it. First of all, what I'm going to kind of focus on today are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide sunscreens, and I'm going to talk about how they look on brown skin or skin of color. So let's see, what are we protecting our skin from? First of all, a lot of people don't understand the damage that comes from the sun's rays, and as a consequence of that, as they start getting up in age, they get more and more wrinkles, they get discoloration, they get these little tiny moles all over the place. They don't understand why, because when they were younger, they like to sit out in the sun and just get as much sun as possible. Nowadays, we know that that is not particularly healthy for our skin, even when we're younger, but particularly when we get older. So what are we protecting our skin from? First of all, there are three types of sun rays, but we're going to focus on two today, and those are UVA and UVB. Now you can remember them like this. The UVA sun rays cause aging. So that means you're going to have more wrinkles, more sagging. They actually penetrate into the skin's dermis and cause, collagen loss. And when you start losing collagen, that's when you start getting the sagging and the bagging. So we want to stay away from those UVA rays, definitely. Now, UVB rays, you can remember those by remembering the B stands for burning. So say you go out, and even if you don't get a sunburn, when you have absorbed a lot of those UVB rays, things are going to happen. You may get dark splotches on your skin, on the backs of your hands, on your arms. I'm sure you've seen people with that. Or in people with skin of color, you might get these little tiny mole looking things. I forget what you call them, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And sometimes the darker your skin is, well, actually, the darker your skin is, the bigger those moles get. A lot of people with skin of color or brown skin, such as mine, they think that they're protected from the rays of the sun just because they have brown skin. They say, oh, my melanin protects me. Well, that's true only to a certain extent, maybe about 3%. Okay, and to me, I don't want to mess with that little 3% saying, oh, my melanin in my skin is protecting me, because that's really largely a fallacy. I don't care what color your skin is, you need some sun protection. So remember, you want to protect your skin against the UVA and the UVB rays. Now, let's talk a little bit about sun protection factor, because a lot of times people get things mixed up regarding the sun protection factors. For example, this one has a sun protection factor of 50, and some people think falsely that that means that they can stay out in the sun for 50 hours. That's not what sun protection factor means. And so I'm going to bring you this, and this is from the FDA. And it says, sun protection factor is a measure of how much solar energy, that's UV ultraviolet radiation, is required to produce sunburn on protected skin. Now that's with sunscreen on. and relative to the amount of solar energy required to produce a sunburn on unprotected skin. So, in other words, as the SPF factor goes up, the sunburn protection increases. So the sun protection factor is related to keeping your skin from becoming sunburned. And you know, I don't know if you ever had a sunburn, but they are very painful, and you know, you just don't want to get them. And I can tell you something too. My mother was very light skinned, a lot lighter than me as an African American. People used to ask me if my mother was Japanese because that's how light skinned she was, and she had the almond shaped eyes. Well, one day she went to the beach with a friend, and it was on a cloudy day. She came back with a sunburn, and she was just like so surprised that that would even happen. But you know, the sun's rays are strong. They can get through you to you through clouds. They can come in through your car windshield as you're driving. They can even come in through the windows like in your home and at work. So you really have to be protective of your skin and to try to reduce those bad effects of those rays. Now, let me tell you some facts about these sunscreens. The first of all question, the first question that I want to answer is, what is the best sunscreen for me? People ask this all the time, and the broad answer that I'm going to give you is that the best sunscreen is the one that's going to protect your skin from being sunburned. Now that sounds, you know, extremely broad, and it is, because there are two different types of sunscreen that I'm going to talk about today. First of all, we have the physical sunscreen, and then we have the chemical sunscreens. Let me break those down for you. First of all, the physical sunscreens sit on top of your skin. They don't go into your skin. The chemical sunscreens actually go into your skin. They absorb the ultraviolet rays, they convert them into heat, and then they release that heat from the body. That's the difference between physical and chemical. So, what I have found out doing my research, and actually there's a growing body of research that has found that the ingredients in chemical sunscreens can be absorbed into the bloodstream, and they cause hormone disruption. This is a problem because if you're using your sunscreen faithfully and regularly, you could get that going right into your skin, and it can cause hormone disruption. Let me tell you about some of that. I'm going to give you some ingredients that you can look for in a physical sunscreen. Now, I'm not going to lie. Before I knew the difference in these sunscreens, I did use this one. This is Neutrogena Ultra Touch Dry Sunscreen. And it has a sun protection factor of 85 plus. I thought that was awesome. And the reason why I like this sunscreen is because it, as they say on the label, it's dry touch, it's lightweight, and it has a clean feel. It does. It really does. However, when you look on the back of this product, it has 5 ingredients that are on the no list at the Environmental Working Group. Now, I told you guys about the Environmental Working Group website before. I want you to put that in your memory banks, and I'll put it down in the description also. The Environmental Working Group is a website where you can look up virtually any ingredient that's in a cosmetic product. You can go there, you can see they have it all ranked and everything. You can see the positives and the negatives. So I want to encourage you to put that in your bookmark on your cell phone, okay? Environmental Working Group. So this particular sunscreen, it is a chemical sunscreen, and it has all of these ingredients that are on the no list. Let me tell you some of the ingredients that you want to avoid. These ingredients actually go into your bloodstream, and they have come out in mother's milk. See, that's bad news. They have also been shown in the studies. What they do is I'm just going to read it to you. They are first of all, carcinogenic, and that's bad news right there. You don't want anything on or in your body that has a propensity or might cause cancer, so that has to be off the list right there. And the way they do that is by facilitating the proliferation of cells that are receptive to estrogenic compounds. Now, this causes the disruption of hormones by blocking them or mimicking them, throwing off the body's hormonal balance. Now, here's some other bad news for you men. It also causes toxicity to sperm development and viability. See, that's bad news. Okay, you don't want to do anything that would cause a problem with your reproductive system. So you want to avoid certain chemicals, and it's also been shown to feminize male fish and alter breast development in adolescent females. So thumbs down on the chemical sunscreens. Okay, no to this. And so we're just going to put this down right now. Okay, and so I'm going to tell you 11 sunscreen ingredients that you want to avoid. First of all, oxybenzone. Second, Octinoxate. That one is a hard one to pronounce. Octinoxate. Number 3, Avobenzone. Number 4, Homosalate. Number 5, Octocrylene. Number 6, Cinoxate. Number 7, Dioxybenzone. Number 8, Meradimate. And number 9, Padimate O. Number 10, this one is a tongue twister, Sulisobenzone. And actually that's 10, not 11. Sorry about that. Let me just go over them again. Oxybenzone, Octinoxate, Avobenzone, Homosalate, Octocrylene, Cinoxate, Dioxybenzone, Meradimate, Padimate O, and Sulisobenzone. You want to avoid those. Those even sound bad, okay? If I can't hardly pronounce them, I definitely don't want them going into my body. What do you think about that? Put your comment down there and let me know. Let me know also what kind of sunscreen are you using right now. Sunscreens don't necessarily have to be, a lotion or a powder or whatever. Sunscreen is also the hats that we wear to cover our skin, our faces, our necks from the sun. Also, there is a company that makes sunscreen clothing. We can protect ourselves in so many ways. If you notice, I'm wearing white today. White actually reflects light. So instead of, all of those sun rays going into my body, that means that this white is going to cause them to reflect out. So it's other ways to protect yourself too. Some people carry a parasol. Remember, Michael Jackson used to have his umbrella almost wherever he went. He was smart. We have to be smart too. Let me go back here because there's some other things I wanted to say about that. As I was mentioning before, the sunscreen that I just put down had like 5 of those nasty ingredients that we want to avoid. So be sure when you're looking for your sunscreen, not only look for a higher sun protection factor, but also look for the chemicals that you want to avoid. So let me get on with this. I have decided that I'm only going to use mineral sunscreen on my skin from now on. Mineral is also known as a physical sunscreen, so it's not going into your skin. And I'm going to show you some of these today. I'm also trying to find a mineral sunscreen that was better, because I'm always comparing things. I found one that I liked last year a lot, but I'm always trying things because I want to come back and share these things with you. So I'm looking for one that is a mineral sunscreen that's going to go on my skin and not cause it to have that yucky, ashy looking white cast. That's a problem for people of color. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you've used them before. So let's just get on with it. First of all, I'm going to tell you something. This is Biossance, and this is the Squalane and Mineral Sheer Sunscreen. And it is awesome. I love this one. It has a sun's protection factor of 30. I wish it could be a little bit higher, but you know, I'm not sweating it. I just have to reapply it. Okay, so this one has one ingredient, zinc oxide, 14%. I love this one, but I'm going to come back to it. Some other ones that I decided to try this year, and if you look at the box, it says sheer zinc. I know those letters are going backwards, but bear with me. It says sheer zinc. So I'm looking for something with sheer, because I'm figuring, well, if it says sheer, maybe it won't leave that white cast, right? So I decided to try this. And I'm going to put some of these on my face so you can see how they show up. So first of all, let me just take off my makeup that I have on my cheek. I went to church earlier, and so I do have on some makeup. I'm going to take that off so I can test this for you, and you can see how it looks on my skin. Okay, and my skin is pretty brown, medium brown, I would call it. My grandmother used to call it paper bag brown. If you've heard that before, raise your hand in the comments. Paper bag brown. So there we go. So that's off, and let's just try these out. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you this one. This is the Sheer Zinc Face Sunscreen by Neutrogena, and it has that nice broad spectrum protection with an SPF of 50. Let's see what that looks like. Now, as you can see, it is leaving a white cast, right? But some of these sunscreens, if you just go ahead and blend them in, it will blend in pretty well. Okay, compare it with that side, and that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So that one is the Sheer Zinc by Neutrogena. Another thing that you can do is, instead of putting on a lot at one time, you can put on a little, and then you can just layer it, and you're less likely to have that white cast. That one looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, so that's this one. Now let's move on over to my next contender. This is the Cetaphil Sheer Mineral Sunscreen. This one also is broad spectrum, sun protection factor of 50. I like those 50s, you know that? And so this one says it's formulated for sensitive skin, mild microbiome gentle, and it contains prebiotics and vitamin C. Water resistant up to 8 minutes, is paraben and fragrance free, and that's definitely good for people with sensitive skin, because they tend to be sensitive also to fragrance. So let's try this one. This one is titanium dioxide 4.9% and zinc oxide 4.7%. A lot of these nice mineral sunscreens do have that combination of titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So let's try this one. I'm just going to use a little, just like I just said, and let's put that on. That's looking pretty good, isn't it? Yes, indeed. Now let me see. I like to use my sunscreen particularly when I'm out riding my bike. Like yesterday, I went for an 8-mile bike ride, and I was definitely sweating. So I know some of my sunscreen came off, but I had on a visor for that extra protection. So now this one, it doesn't blend in as well as the previous one. However, if you have a lighter complexion, this might work for you. That is the Cetaphil, the Sheer Mineral Sunscreen. Now, like I say, on my skin, I can still see just a little of that cast that I do not like. So this one is one that I probably use on my arms and legs. So let's try it on my arm and see how it looks. Oh, I forgot to put the other one on my arm too. Now, typically when we're putting the sunscreen on our bodies, we tend to use a little bit more. And you can see, obviously, now I got my little tan line right there. That's from riding my bike. As you can see, it still does leave a white cast there. And I do want to try the other one on the previous one because I forgot to do that. So let me take that off. And let's try a little of the sheer zinc face. What they call this? Yeah, sheer zinc face mineral sunscreen. I'm going to put that on here and see how that goes. Well, this one seems to be a winner again. It's pretty invisible. So I like that. We'll keep this one in the forefront. But I will still use this one. Like I say, if I'm out doing some kind of sports or whatever, riding my bike, I really don't care if I have a white cast on my arms and legs. It's not like people are going to stop their cars and say, oh my God, she has sunscreen on, you know? So I'm just being a little realistic with that. This one is also, it's a good cost-effective bargain, and I'm your baby boomer beauty on a budget, right? So I'm always looking for cost-effective items. And speaking of that, I do have the costs written down. Baby boomer beauty on a budget. That is a tongue twister. Okay, so the Cetaphil right here, this one is $9.73, and I got this one last year. It might have gone up a little bit, but that's how much I paid for it then. And the other one that I have here is $17.95. That's the Vanicream, and we're going to get to that next. And this sheer zinc face, actually, my husband got this in a 2-pack from Amazon, and I think the cost of the 2-pack was only like $10.50. So you get 2 fluid ounces. It was a total of 4 fluid ounces because you get 2 of these, and I think that is a great bargain, especially for one that is proving to actually be sheer the way I like it. Now, next up, we have the Vanicream, and I want to just wipe my cheek off again because I'm trying to let you see the full effects of each one. I have gotten a little suntan since I've been out there riding my bike pretty frequently, but I keep my skin blocked as much as possible. I really do. I keep my sunscreen on. So now this one is Vanicream, and this one is broad spectrum again with the sun protection factor of 50, and is free of dyes, fragrance, masking, lanolin, parabens, or formaldehyde releasers. Okay, that sounds good. It is water resistant up to 80 minutes, just like this one, and non-comedogenic. So it's not going to cause you to get acne. It's not going to block your pores. So let's see how this one does. This is Vanicream. I'm just taking a little bit out, and let's go. Now this one, I really like the way it feels. The spreadability is just wonderful. It feels like silk going on my skin, and I really like that because I want it not only to be invisible, I do want it to feel good on my skin as well. So this one feels great. This one was a little bit heavier. This one was a little draggy. You know, I felt like a pull as I was putting it on my skin. So I really like this Vanicream a lot. And let's go on to my other cheek here. I'm just making sure I got all the makeup off and all the other previous sunscreen. There we go. Last but not least, this one is my favorite. to tell you the truth. This is Biossance Squalane and Zinc Sheer Mineral Sunscreen. It has a broad spectrum SPF factor of 30. That's not as high as I would like it. However, I can reapply. That's how, I rationalize. This has the zinc oxide 14%. Now let me show you this. This one is awesome. And I really like it because I love squalane. Okay, so when I saw that, I loved it right away. Let's put this on. And this one also feels incredibly silky and wonderful. And you can see it just goes right into my skin. No white cast whatsoever. I like that so much. Yeah. So that one is my favorite. Now I got this last year, and I'm going to tell you what happened. I went to look for it again this year because I'm probably down to about right here, even though I use it pretty frequently. When I use this, I use it just on my face. I use this other one on my arms and legs. And then this one is new. So I'm also going to be using this one probably on my arms and legs. But let me tell you what happened. First of all, when I first looked for it, I saw a much larger tube, about that big, and it was about $46. And I was like, holy moly, that's about to hurt your baby boomer beauty on a budget, okay? But not, maybe it was about $64. Come to think of it, I got the numbers switched around, and I said $64 for some sunscreen. I don't know about that. Anyway, I was in the process of thinking about whether I was going to buy it or not, and I went back to buy it. And don't you know that they aren't even making this anymore? I was so upset because I said, wow, that's my favorite sunscreen, and I wanted to come to you guys and just rave all about it, which I am raving about it. As you can see, it just goes on absolutely invisible, and that's what I'm looking for. But they don't make it anymore. So my brain started working and trying to figure out what I could do. And so this is what I figured that I can do. And this is going to be a hack for you. Since this one has the squalane and zinc, this one has the this one has the zinc also, the Vanicream. So what I decided to do is, I said, well, I can mix these two together and have something similar to that. This is the Squalane and E serum by QRX Labs. I showed you guys this a little while ago, a few months ago. Squalane and vitamin E. And so what I said is I can just, mix those two together like that and have the same thing as my Squalane and zinc Biossance. So let's see, does it work? Yeah, it works, because I tried it before. It goes on absolutely invisible. See that? That's invisible. So since I can't get the Biossance anymore, I continue to do my research, and that's what I found. I could just combine these two, and I got something extremely similar, and that's good enough for me. I'm still getting my protection in the sunscreen that I love. I prefer the zinc oxide and the titanium dioxide because I know that they're not going to be going into my skin and disrupting my hormones. So that's what that looks like. It's completely invisible and it's wonderful, and that's what I'm going to do when I run out of this. This tube like this was about $36, and I thought that was a lot then. But then when I thought about it, if I'm going to be using it over time, and also I'm only using it on my face, so it's going to last pretty much a long time. Some people are concerned that if it gets too old, it won't be effective anymore or anything like that. However, that was not my concern. I just kept using it anyway. And so this one is my favorite, but they don't make it anymore. So, you guys, if you have any questions about these sunscreens, please put them down in the comment section, and I'll be happy to read and come back and answer your questions. What do you think about these sunscreens? Do you use sunscreen even? And what kind of sunscreen are you using now? Do you think any of the sunscreens that I just showed you would work for you? That they would go on invisibly on the color skin that you have? Let me know down in the comments. I had to change locations because I was having some technical difficulties. The sun started to shine really, really brightly, and also my battery was about to run out. So I had to do a change of venue. But I do hope that this video has been a blessing to you and that you've gotten some new information that you didn't know. And that's what I have for you all today. I have enjoyed being here with you, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you. I'll see you next time.